Hey everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott. It's time for the Almost Friday show for January 6, 2011.
And if you've been paying attention in the tech world, it's CES this week.
It's a consumer electronics show where basically all the big players and a pile of the small players and a pile of people you've never heard of before go, hey, this is what we're working on.
And it's usually some pretty awesome stuff.
It's, you're seeing tablets, new 3D TVs, charging stuff. Tesla released a new car. Ford's there talking about their sync, and they got new cars, and it's like, everybody's getting in there now.
And there's a metric ton of new cameras.
Everybody's in. I mean, Samsung released some cameras. I mean,
It's
GE apparently is releasing cameras now, and it's like everyone's just releasing everything.
So in light of CES, there is no comics and there is no off the press this week because, well, there's just way too much stuff to cover in science, tech, and cameras. So we're gonna kick it off with science first, just to change up the format a little bit, and we're gonna be checking out some pretty cool stuff about charging your car in your driveway.
And a battery that's just doesn't want to die. It's 60 years old. It's still going.
In tech, we're taking a look at some crazy new smartphones, as well as Asus brought out a bunch of new stuff as well.
Again, tablets, lots of tablets, and an extremely exciting announcement from NVIDIA, which we've kind of been expecting for a while, but it's going to mean big things for the computer world, and we'll tell you why.
And behind the lens, there's a list of new cameras that's about this long.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing you an overview of some of the really cool stuff that's come out.
Yeah.
But without further ado, it's time for some crazy mad science, CES edition.
It's kind of alive!
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. Hey everyone, welcome to Mad Science for this week. I'm joined with Scott because Sam fell into a hole.
It's a little hole, but she's there. So I'm here, and we do have some exciting CES stories to talk about because, as you've seen by now, the show's kind of a little tilted towards the CES. But alas, that's what it is. But first, the oldest battery known to man is still charging.
Still charging and working. This is called the Karpin's Pile. It is made by Vasily. I can't really pronounce the name, unfortunately.
V. Karpin.
Yeah, V. Karpin. And this battery is going at 1 volt. But
Still?
Yes,
Because it was designed in 1950 to operate at 1 volt.
Yep, and it's a prototype to begin with. And this thing is still going after 60 years. Hasn't slowed down. So they're calling it a perpetual motion machine. Personally, I hate that term.
Scientists are going mad and they don't understand it, but it's still working. So clearly, someone needs to do some explaining.
Yeah.
But it is pretty cool.
Yeah. Once again, link in the show notes. Check this out. It looks old, but it looks really cool.
It's not huge or anything. It's just kind of little.
Maybe a tabletop thing.
Yeah.
But definitely check it out. So we're going to do some quick mentions, just so I bring that across. And the next one, which could be kind of the reason for this now that this thing surfaced again. There was a lot of dead birds and fish just all of a sudden in Arkansas, in the States this week. No idea what really caused the problem. Like, they literally just fell out of the sky, fish washed up on beaches. No poison.
Yeah, they did like random autopsies on the leftovers and empty stomachs.
Yeah, empty stomachs, no poison, no nothing. However, their organs did have blunt force trauma. So they're wondering if what could have been, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Don't listen. There's one thing that buggers me even more, and it's going to be this whole... The one I read was the 2012 nonsense.
The end of the world is coming.
Yeah, well, the magnetic field shifted, and all that's going to happen now, we're going to fry, and all the birds are going to get screwed up. I hate you, whoever you are.
You can thank the script writers of the Core.
Yes. And, however, so it's kind of a weird thing. They're thinking what it could have been was just a thunderstorm, because this happens every now and then. A freak thunderstorm comes out of nowhere, and while these birds are flying, lightning goes, sonic boom. They're thinking it just screwed them up and made them all collide. And it's a good theory. Fish, they don't know, though. So it's still up in the air. No pun intended. And, however, I wanted to put my own spin to this. So check out this video clip. It's a good explanation that I prefer.
You would.
I would.
Yeah.
So here's the clip.
This is the Stewie who likes new fruit hats.
You missed it.
Wow, late. plate.
In 3D! Anyway. So, that was kind of neat, eh? Neat explosion. Yeah, fake video. If you didn't notice, fake video. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying this is what I would like to think happened.
Sean likes to think big.
Yep. By the way, that is for a film called What's in the Box. Director Tim Smit. It's a Dutch film. Check this out on YouTube. It's very interesting. But moving on.
To the CES.
Yes.
Now, there's obviously a pile of stuff coming out, as there will be in photography and there was in tech and everything. So, we picked a couple things, just a couple things.
These two are possibly
that we thought were really, really cool. Now, I don't wear glasses, but a lot of people do. And, bifocals is a big thing. I need one prescription to read and one to look over there. But now I got to get used to having the transition.
And it does mess people up. If you've never worn bifocals before, depending on your prescription change, man, does it mess you up.
So apparently, Pixel Optics has come out there and said, you know what, glasses are old school. Let's tech them up. What did they come up with?
Well, basically, it's liquid crystals inside of the lens. What you do, apparently, is you just kind of tap the lens.
And your prescription changes.
Yeah, and it'll change. It'll change into your bifocal. It'll fall in, and then that's it. And then you can see, and then you tap it again. It goes back to your regular long range, or whatever you need. And the neat thing, though, is they're putting gyros into this. There's an option so that when you are looking around, it changes the prescription to match your field of view. So, like,
let's say you're looking ahead, so you want your normal prescription.
Yep.
But then when you look down,
you get your bifocal.
You get your bifocal prescription, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think would make it pretty easy for people to adjust, because you'd never really.
You wouldn't notice the change.
You'd just always be seeing clearly, hopefully, depending on how good the gyro is implemented.
I really like that.
And I think another cool thing about this is, I don't quite understand the technology, but that could mean you could possibly just go in for reprogramming instead of having to buy new lenses.
That's true.
If your prescription shifts.
That is true.
So that would be pretty cool.
That would be. So, optics market is changing. However, what I'd like to see, though, is I want to see them do that with transitions. Instead of walking outside and waiting for them to go, just like sunglasses.
That would be cool.
I'd prefer to
They
see
probably
that.
could. I don't see why they couldn't.
No, I don't see why either. It wouldn't take much. But one of the coolest things that we've seen so far from CES, but not paled in comparison to the Fulton Innovation Group. These guys, they're doing some really cool stuff with induction power.
Now, we've been talking about the mat chargers and the wire, like the Palm Pre, and Energizer has one, whatever, for a while. We've kind of been saying, not really our thing until you can just kind of throw down anything.
Exactly. Incidentally, I've tried these power mats out from everybody. Very unimpressive.
I mean, they work, but they're a little matte and they're kind of chunky. They don't look nice. You got to put a giant adapter on your phone. And
but these gentlemen, or this group, I shouldn't say gentlemen, but this group, like Scotty said, you can basically throw anything down now.
It's pretty cool. Now, they're not saying, this is coming out this year. They're just saying, look, this is what we're doing with this technology, and they're making it more universal, which is, I think, an important step. The biggest thing that I thought was the coolest, Tesla unveiled their new car, the four-door, I can't remember, something S, and basically, it's an electric car, all electric, so it needs to charge. So these guys said, oh yeah, Tesla, you just, here's a giant plate that goes on the bottom of your car, plugs into your existing charger port, you drive over an identical plate, and your car's induction charging.
Which, brilliant.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is the best usage, I think, so far for this induction charging.
Because I saw Ford was talking about it.
Yeah.
They were interested in that because they put some money into one of the other companies making the power mats.
Yeah.
But this company's come out and said, look, we already have a solution. So, I mean, you lose a little efficiency on that kind of scale, but not much. They're talking about 80% now. They're thinking they can probably get up to about 89, 90% efficiency. Wired charging is 96%.
Yeah. So you're not looking at a very big drop.
And I mean, if you're charging overnight, you won't notice.
No, not at all. You'll be
fine. To be able to pull into your garage, you literally never have to think about fuel ever again.
Yeah.
You pull in, you're charging. You pull in at work, you're charging. If it gets implemented like that,
you know,
it's pretty cool.
It won't even have to be your garage now. You can put this right inside.
You can put it wherever you want.
Right in your driveway. You know.
And then the coolest thing is they've got very similar product. Let's say it's your countertop.
Brilliant.
Okay, so I want to make some dinner.
Yep.
Well, instead of having a stove, I just have this induction countertop. Whip out my induction pan or saucepan or pot or whatever I need.
Okay.
Just starts cooking.
That's cool. See, Yes, that is what we need to start seeing. We've seen induction stoves. They've been around forever, but you still need to have the stove plugged in, and you need a metal pot, and you just go clank.
This way, you just need a countertop.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, and they've got some gimmicky things like light up Cheerio boxes,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, ooh, yeah, people are going to jump on that like crazy if it gets to where it should be.
Exactly.
But I mean, not very cool. And Campbell's Soup came out with a soup can. You put it on, you press a button, and it's going to cook your soup in the thing right there.
That is something else that we need to see, because that is the best thing ever.
Just take your can of soup to work, charge it on your desk.
Yep, that is the best thing ever, is to be able to, because working in a building where you have, even if you have like 3 or 4 microwaves, when it comes to lunch, you are never, ever, ever going to get your food on time.
It's a lineup.
That's if you have a set lunch break. You'll never get it. It's like schools even. I remember the microwave in high school. You would never eat.
No, it's a pretty cool idea. So I think to see this many different partners participating with this group, and if they start a standards kind of thing, I think you'll see a lot of other people jump on board. So pretty exciting.
And you know what? I think there is going to be. I think you're right. There will be a standards form with these guys.
I think so, because they're talking about integrating it into devices.
Yeah.
Which is the important part. I can just throw my stock iPhone on there and it'll start charging. So.
And that would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. So that's kind of what we have. So you can see what we have for science, and of course the usual things on our show notes. And really keep paying attention to CES, because we'll have another, of course, next week. We'll have a huge, huge wrap up of what we've seen. So stay tuned. But for now, that wraps up science for this week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insights, CES 2011 edition. Because it's CES, and then this is really just packed full of, that's all we've seen this week in tech news.
Everything. My RSS reader is like all CES all the time.
And all just full.
Yep.
Just packed full. So we picked out a few things. We don't want to go on forever.
No.
If you're interested, just type in CES to the Googles, and you'll find more information than you could ever want to know about things that will never see the market.
There are more live streams than there are fingers on my hand.
So we're kicking it off with what I think is probably the biggest announcement that'll actually affect
so far.
anything. So far, it's true. It's still an ongoing show.
Only day one right now.
So, Project Denver from NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA had a few small announcements. It's continuing with the Tegra 2 dual core. What they want to do with it. It's going to be powering some cool video chat on Skype and things like that, on Android, things like that. Really small stuff. And they're like, oh, by the way, we're making a full-scale desktop processor based on the ARM architecture called Project Denver. And everyone was like, because the ARM processor is only used in mobile right now.
Yep.
It's the iPad, the iPhone, a lot of the Androids are all based on ARM architectures. Now, Windows won't run on that, and Mac won't run on that, and sometimes Linux will, but not important. Desktops and laptops don't use it. And NVIDIA's kind of like, it's really awesome, so we're just going to scale it up.
Pretty cool.
Which was a really cool announcement, and everyone was kind of like, well, whatever, NVIDIA, what are you going to run on it? And then Microsoft came out and said, by the way, we're going to make Windows to run on ARM natively. And everyone was like, what? So apparently Windows 8 will have native ARM support.
Sweet.
Which is ridiculous, because you're going to see like immense battery increase in your laptop. Like it's going to be 30 hours. That's an exaggeration, but it's going to be huge. And it's just a different architecture, and Windows has jumped on it. So that's got to be a good thing. Because Windows moves very slowly and kind of doesn't like change. But they're like, hey, Windows 8, bam. Now, they didn't really address what's going to happen with all the old apps. There'd probably be some kind of
backwards compatibility
thing.
for
sure. An emulator or something.
Yeah.
I'm
Windows
sure
is usually pretty good for that.
They are. Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Huge news. Really cool. So I'm very excited for when that comes to fruition and I can...
Probably the next couple of years.
Probably, yeah. It's probably a little whiles off, but it's pretty cool. And people have been waiting for NVIDIA to do something like this for a while. They figured they'd probably
Well, it would make sense that the processor companies are going into graphics. It makes sense for a graphics company to go into processors.
Exactly.
That's kind of the buzz that was happening today.
For sure. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. And I mean, they're becoming closer and closer to the same thing.
Exactly.
And so NVIDIA's really looking forward to this, and they're kind of going to bring in the graphics processing with the processor. So it should turn out something really cool. So we'll see what they do, but it's a really exciting
Definitely something we'll be following here.
Yes. On to the 3D TVs. This has kind of been the tablet 3D TV CES
yeah,
again.
Tablet TV, 3D TV show Take-Two.
Take-Two, yeah. Hopefully we'll get something out of it this time.
Yep.
A lot of the TVs have been very unexciting because they're just big 3D TVs, which we can already buy.
Woo.
Except Toshiba has announced, because they've been bragging about it for a while.
Yeah, they're glassesless 3D.
Yes.
Except not tiny, because in Japan they've been selling small 12-inch and 20-inch glassesless 3D TVs.
Yeah, for 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, for a little while now. So now they've announced much bigger, more practical
Hopefully.
TVs.
They're shipping 40, 50 inches 3D TVs, glassesless, to the U.S.
Sweet.
So we're actually going to probably, well, I don't know what Canada will probably get them, but
Yeah.
similar retail chains. But that's pretty cool. They're kind of like, they think glassesless 3D is there. Most people don't.
No, because there's only like 3 places in the room you can sit. That would be here, here, and here.
Yeah, and then you're done.
Yeah.
You know, so you might as well go buy 4 pairs of glasses so you can have more than 3 people
Exactly.
watching.
You're pretty much limited to your couch directly in front of your TV. If you got like a nice wraparound couch, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, they have some prototypes at CES. I haven't really read any reviews.
No, not yet.
But they're full res. They're actually 4K panels,
Nice.
which is kind of cool. But apparently, they don't need glasses, and we'll see. I mean, if they sell, they sell. I mean,
Well, I've read some very early preliminary reviews saying that they hurt your eyes and they give you a headache.
see, now that's no good.
No.
I wouldn't buy that. But I hope a bunch of people don't get screwed.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good.
They buy it and then 5 years later they're like, oh, you need glasses now.
Yeah. What if I had only bought them then?
Who knew your eyes would fall out after 50 years?
So, continuing on the 3D TV bandwagon, Panasonic announced their new flagship plasma, the VT30 in 3D.
More
so that's,
3D TVs.
That's pretty cool. It's basically a really, really nice plasma TV.
Well,
That's
Panasonic
3D.
is really going in the direction of we're selling nice TVs that happen to have 3D as one of the like feature checkboxes.
Yeah, they're making that angle where it's like, buy this because it's a nice TV.
And also it has 3D. Just
Exactly.
saying.
As opposed to being, it's 3D.
And it's a nice TV.
It'll even upscale your 2D to 3D. And everyone's like,
Yay.
just no.
No.
But yeah, I think Panasonic, that's a good point. They're kind of making a good...
They're also making, I think I read somewhere that, or I heard somewhere, they're making most of their TVs like 3D capable now instead of like just a couple of them. So
Yeah.
they're really pushing, they're a company that's really pushing the 3D.
Yeah, and I mean, they're one of the only companies left working with plasma. So there might be something there to plasma and 3D integration or something.
Yeah.
They seem to be a lot quicker on getting a lot of their models on there, and the prices are pretty good. So that's interesting to see what they come up with. They've always made gorgeous plasmas.
Oh, yeah.
But the weird thing is that they have this new thing called Viera Connect,
Yep.
which they kind of already had.
Which is basically internet-connected apps for
Yeah.
your TV.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things like, Netflix.
The things that would make sense on your TV, like
Yeah.
Netflix and Hulu
Yep.
and like special sports things.
Yeah, ESPN, I'm sure, something
Probably
like
has
that.
an app for scores and
But they're
whatever.
also branching into things like Facebook,
Huh.
Skype.
That would.
Skype's cool.
Skype's
Skype's
gonna
been
be
trying
kinda
to.
cool.
Yeah, they've been trying to break into the TV thing.
I think having it on a TV is more user friendly than having it on a computer because like
Especially for video conferencing.
especially
yeah.
with like our grandparents or whatever. If I'm like, hey grandma, check out this thing on your TV, press this button and I
Yeah.
can talk to you.
It's pretty cool, and I mean they're kind of bridging the smartphone UI kind of apps
Yeah.
environment into your TV, which
That's another trend at CES this year.
Yeah.
Internet enabled
TV
stuff.
Yeah, period.
Not just TV,
actually,
just
yeah,
stuff.
things,
Washing machines.
watches.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Cool stuff.
But the cool thing about this new Connect is they've got a marketplace for the apps, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool. I mean, there's games and stuff like that. They've also released a tablet
Like everyone else.
in like a few different sizes. There's not a lot of information about it. I think it's carrying the Viera name, which is interesting because that's also their TV,
Their TV
brand.
name.
So that's kind of interesting. But it's an Android-based tablet.
Like all the new tablets coming
Not
out.
surprising. We don't know a ton about it,
No.
but it will link with Viera Connect.
That's kind of cool.
So you can kind of control your apps.
I wonder if you can set like your DVR stuff through that.
I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting to have. It's like a big remote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like if it controls your other stuff too, that might be cool.
That would be kind of cool.
But if it's just kind of like I can control my TV with this tablet, but it won't turn on my stereo,
Yeah.
kind of useless. So I'd like to see more details about
That
this
probably
Viera
has
tablet.
a lot to do with like the other things plugged into your TV as well. Like if your DVR is internet connected, maybe that company will have an app and they can program it through your tablet.
See, which would be a good package
would
to
be
sell.
cool.
Yeah, and Panasonic loves their packages.
Avatar 3D. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat. I think I kind of like that idea as opposed to fiddling around with a remote. You can just kind of use
It's
the smartphone interface, but have a big screen.
Again, it's more user-friendly than a remote. 'Cause
Yeah.
remote, you're pressing like abstract buttons. This, you know exactly what you're pressing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm pressing this button for Facebook, not just
Yeah.
up, left,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I want Skype, beep, and then, oh, look at that. I want to talk to Grandma. Grandma's on my TV.
Sweet.
So I think that's pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see what goes there. I'd like more details. They really didn't give much. Apparently, it's coming in different sizes
Yeah. Soon,
at some point.
like most things.
Probably
Soon.
probably sold with a TV. So we'll see
That'll
there.
be a good value-added bonus.
I would say so. Away from tablets for a second.
Briefly.
Well, kinda.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really. Motorola's new awesome phone called the Atrix 4G. Motorola's first phone with the Tegra dual-core processor.
Yes. So it's the Tegra 2 dual core,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting.
1 gig of RAM, a screen that will rival the iPhone, and something really cool, a fingerprint scanner. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's just a super awesome camera or if it's an actual fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, we'll have to see it. It looks like a pretty feature-heavy phone.
It's a very powerful phone.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this is there is a notebook dock available for
Yeah.
it, which is basically a screen attached to a keyboard that you plug your phone into the back. Or there's also another dock with 3 USB ports and an HDMI port, so that
For TV streaming,
for
I guess.
TV or
yeah.
if you have your own screen at home, you just want to.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting what they're kind of doing with this phone.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of
There-
people who would probably use the hell out of that little laptop thing.
Yes. They're definitely marketing this phone as a netbook replacement phone. Because
Yeah.
it's more powerful than my netbook.
And really, with that phone, you wouldn't need a tablet
Nope.
or a netbook. And for most people, you probably wouldn't even need a laptop.
No, like,
You could
I'm
just
sure-
jump on and just...
I'm sure if I had that phone, it would basically replace everything I do except for playing World of Warcraft on my
Yeah,
computer.
it's pretty cool. And they've even given, when you plug into the dock, you get actually a more fully featured browser.
Yeah.
I believe it's Firefox, so that you don't miss out on,
Yeah.
having the...
It's
the
shipping with Froyo, so Android 2.2.
Yeah, so it has full Flash 10.1 support, which is good. It looks pretty cool. And what's most exciting is the day it was announced, Bell Mobility posted that they're going to have it.
Yes.
We're actually getting something new in Canada.
So it's been announced to come out in the next couple of months, but that's not next couple of months for just Canada. It's next couple of months for us and the States. So we're probably going to get it either same day or a couple weeks apart, which is awesome.
Pretty cool.
Kind of wish it wasn't just Bell, but maybe it's
I'm-
a 1-year exclusive.
I think you'll see it move to everybody else, but
But good
it's
for Bell for beating TELUS with a punch.
good
'cause
for
I
Bell
re-
for being like, yo, we need this phone. It looks
Yeah.
really cool.
I was kind of expecting TELUS to have it.
Because they usually do, especially with Android.
Oh, yeah. I would
but
have been
it's-
on there like that.
It's a really good... If I was going to buy an Android phone right now,
Mhm. It even looks really pretty,
it's
too.
almost got to be that. And then, if you don't want that, if you already have a phone, Motorola also released a tablet,
Their Zoom tablet
the
with an X.
Xzoom.
Zoom
Um,
running on Honeycomb, maybe, possibly?
Possibly that's not out yet. So they don't really give a ship date, but they're
No.
basically saying, it's a tablet. It's going to be dual core. It's going to be running Honeycomb, which is cool. Flash player support, HD video, all that kind of stuff. So wait and see. The hardware looks
Yeah,
really nice.
during their press conference, they had basically a Honeycomb ad in the middle of the press conference, and it basically showed off the UI they're going to be using, and it looks really good because
Yeah.
it's built for tablet. It's Honeycomb is like built specifically for tablet, not a phone UI, not a phone operating
Yeah,
system.
if you
ported.
don't never heard Honeycomb before, it is
3.0.
Android 3.0.
Yep.
Specifically for tablets. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised, like you were saying, to see a really good UI come out of that.
Yeah.
I think Google kind of gets it now that everyone's using Android for
Yeah.
tablets anyway.
People, Google's like, oh yeah, people like us now. We should probably get on that.
Yeah, because people have been making tablets with OS for a year, and we've said that
Mhm.
you shouldn't. So
And
yeah,
there's also the new Motorola Droid Bionic phone. It's not really,
it's the next step in the Droid line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a feature bump.
it's pretty awesome, but it's not coming to Canada, so I'm like, it's hard for me to really care about it.
Yeah, we're not-
It's like, oh, it's a really nice phone. It's probably affordable too. Oh wait, I can't get it.
But
Oh.
we prefer to look at the Cadillac Atrix.
Oh,
It's way cooler. Next up, Asus announced everything.
Yeah.
They really are trying to get back into this portable game because they did the whole EPC thing, and those are pretty much not a market anymore.
No, they were like the beginning of the netbook craze,
Yeah,
basically.
and Asus sold a pile of netbooks, but then everyone kind of stopped buying netbooks.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, oh, okay, let's do tablets. So we've got the E-Slate, officially released, IPS display, done in partnership with Wacom.
That should be good then.
So it's got a stylus, so you're...
Is it an optional stylus or?
No, it comes with it.
Oh, sweet.
It goes actually into the body.
That would be really
so you don't
cool.
need to use the stylus, but it's there. So I don't know how much Wacom's influenced it, but this could be something really good for artists.
Oh yeah.
If you need to do some quick coloring on the go or something like that, it could be pretty cool. It's packing an i5,
Sweet.
which is a ridiculous processor. Up to 2 gigs of RAM. SSD is a mandatory, so that's going to be nice
Oh,
and
yeah.
quick. It's a 12-inch. It's kind of big.
Oh,
But if it's just the tablet, I mean, it's going to be pretty thin.
it's about this big.
Yeah,
really.
it looks pretty cool, actually. I think that might actually have some use somewhere because it's semi-powerful.
Yep.
It's going to be running Windows 7. But I think with the Wacom
Especially,
influence...
yeah, the Wacom influence and the pen, I can definitely see it. If this thing really takes off, it'll probably take off in the art community somehow, like the...
I think it could...
The artistic way.
Or honestly, to be honest with you, I would see that being used, doctors,
Yeah.
things like that.
Anyone who needs to, like, take notes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this would be really good for computer for students and things like that. Go home and dock it. I mean, the fact that it's got a usable tablet surface, unlike a lot of the tablets, it's going to be that market.
And
the
it
people who
comes
would
with
never
a pen.
buy an iPad, but it's a Wacom design, so it's actually going to be good, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So we'll see. That's probably, we're looking at about $1,100 for that. So it's really a
Okay.
laptop made
Yeah,
into
it's a
tablet.
laptop replacement tablet.
Yeah. Now, if you're not into that, they also released the ePad Mimo, which is like,
That's an adorable name.
it's like a big phone, but
Is
it's
it 7-inch-ish?
7 inches,
7, all right.
1224 by 600. It's a pretty good resolution.
Cool.
Android 3.
Again, coming out
Not
whenever
out
that's
yet.
coming out.
Now, it is dual core, but it's not a Tegra. It's
All right.
Qualcomm, so a little different. You're going to have dual cameras, pretty standard phone features.
Can it make phone calls?
I don't think so.
All right.
No, not really. Also has a tablet, or
Or a
sorry,
pen?
a pen. They really hit this pen thing off. That was very 10 years ago.
That was a very Microsoft thing to do because they were
Yeah.
really pushing the pen. But if the pen, they sell pens for the iPad and like the iPhone and stuff, and they're selling pretty well. So I think it's a thing.
I think they might do okay. I don't know about this one so much. It's kind of smaller.
More businessy.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think the pen
They
is
don't-
as necessary on this one.
There's
but-
really not much of a definitive market for a 7-inch tablet. It's basically anyone.
Yeah,
So a larger tablet, you can see note-taking, drawing, work stuff.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But and that was looking at about $500, which
Okay,
is
so a reasonable.
about right.
The average price is it?
And that's coming in June.
Is that $500 with a carrier or $500 just?
I don't think it's 3G.
All right.
It's not really in this article. I didn't look into it too much because it didn't really interest me, to be honest with you. But
I know there are.
I think
a lot
if it's
of tablets
at
coming out.
$500, if it's not with a carrier, that's decent.
That's
if you like a
scale.
7-inch tablet, with a carrier, $500, it's the same as everything else.
Exactly.
So that's just a small taste.
Very small.
There's been so much more stuff released and so many more tablets. We'll probably have some more next week.
At the time of recording, CES has only really been going for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
So this is just like the tip of the iceberg, and this is the really big names I've been doing press conferences so far. Is nothing really has hit the internet of the smaller companies because that stuff
Yeah.
usually gets pushed to the end.
And that's the cool stuff.
That's the really awesome
the stuff that like will never be shipped, but it's so awesome.
Mhm.
So we'll probably have some of that for you next week.
Definitely.
But that's going to wrap up Tech Insight. Next, we're going to Quinn because he's got like so many
His notes were like
so
this
many
thick.
cameras have been released. So we're going to give you a quick run through those. Hey everybody, welcome Behind the Lens CES edition. We have this many cameras to talk to you about.
I never bring notes on this segment. I needed notes. There's just too many damn cameras to talk about. And it's not even over yet. Like, CES is still going on.
Very new.
There could
Yes.
still be announcements this weekend. I might have more to talk about next week.
They could be announcing cameras right now.
They
for all
could
we
be.
know.
And this list isn't even all of them. No, it's just a scratch of like the surface of some of the crazy new stuff that's come out. So we're gonna start it off with some Olympus news. Olympus announced the EPL2. So what they did is they made it look a little bit different. They gave it a bigger screen. and it's got a faster autofocus. So it's finally as good as the Panasonic GF1. It only took 4 tries, but they did it.
Hey, but they're there.
They're there, you know. Panasonic's going to bring out the GF2, and then the Olympus is going to start all over
Olympus
again.
seem to be a little behind almost always.
Yeah, probably.
Unlike-
for the most part.
Yeah.
However, they did bring out their new XZ1, which is their compact high-performance camera, because they didn't have something in that market, not like the Canon S95 and the Samsung EX1. Now, the Samsung EX1 was previously the fastest in that category with an f1.8 lens, but it went to 2.8 by the time you zoomed in. This guy's a 1.8 to 2.5, so it's now the brightest in its class for the amount of light it lets in.
Cool.
With I believe a 5 times optical zoom and a 3-inch screen on the back. It looks pretty cool. I'm excited for it. You know, I don't know if Olympus can really get a foothold in the prosumer point and shoot market, but it is a pretty slick looking camera.
I think it's worth it for them to have something at least to compete.
Yeah. So Sony brought out some new point and shoots. Nothing really special there, with the exception of the fact that they have point and shoot cameras now that are recording 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second progressive. That's ridiculous. That's something that high-end camcorders just recently got. Our $2,000 camcorder that we record with, that we bought just last year, does not do 60p.
No.
And now there's point and shoots doing 60p.
We're talking like normal $150, $200 point shoots.
Well, it's a little bit on the higher range. It's around the $300 price point, but we're still talking
average
consumer
level. Your mom might have one point and shoots.
They're using Exmor processors and a bunch of stuff, which is really good. However, it seems like they're still playing that game where they realize consumers are stupid, and if they add more megapixels, they'll buy a new camera. So, hey, they've gone to 16 megapixels. What? When will they learn? Never, because it keeps working, apparently.
If it keeps working, they'll keep doing it.
I
'cause
guess.
It keeps making the money.
Yeah. Cameras would be so much better if they just stopped doing that. Casio decided to bring out the new Trix camera, which is spelled TRYX, because apparently
No, we
literacy isn't important.
We don't tend to talk about Casio very often on this segment.
They make
so-
interesting cameras, but I've never really been a fan. You know, they got lots of cool features, but they kind of drop the ball in image quality. What's neat about this Trix is that it's got this crazy rotating frame that can rotate 360 degrees vertically and 270 degrees horizontally. So it can kind of get into all kinds of crazy positions. As well as having a backlit CMOS sensor and recording full 1080p at 30 frames per second.
Not bad.
With a 460,000 dot 3-inch LCD screen, which is pretty high resolution for
Nice
a
sharp
pocket
screen,
camcorder, which is kind of cool. It's pretty neat looking as well, but you know, it's kind of a love it or hate it with the
Do all the
flipping
bending.
frame kind of thing. Panasonic brought out their new FP7 and FP5, which really for the most part is your pretty standard touchscreen camera. But what I think I really like about these Panasonics is the style. They're very Apple-esque in the fact that it's just one slide on the front, you've got a shutter and a zoom button on the top, and then it's just a screen on the back. And everything's touch-based, and they're pretty quick and everything like that. So they're pretty cool. They're using a 4 times optical zoom that's inside, nothing special. Really, I'm just talking about these guys because they're pretty cool-looking camera. They're very minimalist, so if that's your kind of thing, you should check out the new FP7 and FP5 from Panasonic. Fuji also announced some stuff this week. You know, surprise, surprise. They brought out the new F550 EXR, which is their 15 times optical zoom camcorder.
Cool.
Nothing a whole lot new with this one, except that they've gone to a higher resolution 3-inch LCD screen. And they've put GPS into it. So
And it's a camcorder?
No, it's their point and
Okay,
shoot
yeah.
with 15 times optical zoom. They're sort of higher end point and shoot. But it's the first GPS camera that Fuji has made thus far. And it does have RAW capability too, which is something we haven't really seen in Fuji cameras yet. But the thing I'm a little bit more interested with Fuji is their new XP30, which is their rugged camera. And they've put a GPS chip in that. And what's neat about that is it's the first rugged camera to have a GPS chip.
And I think that makes a lot of sense.
It makes a ton of sense because the idea with a rugged camera is it's going to be for someone who does a lot of traveling or, camping, hiking, that kind of stuff. Arguably, if you're buying a rugged camera, for the most part, it's because you probably do a lot of outdoor activities. And if you do a lot of outdoor activities, geotagging is insanely useful for you.
It actually makes sense. If you want to go revisit that place, you can whip it. But, it won't be like downtown Paris or something where you can see it and look it up on a map. It's kinda,
So they made it a little bit more waterproof. It used to be 3 meters, is now 5 meters. It's also got a wide-angle lens on it now, and it shoots at 5 times optical zoom, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for a new rugged camera, I think that's going to be a good option. And not to be outdone, Fuji came back and reclaimed their title for the thinnest 10 times optical zoom camera. When the F70 came out a couple years ago, it took the title for thinnest compact high zoom camera in the 10x optical range. And it was kind of taken back by Canon recently with the SD4500, which is a very thin camera. But not to be outdone, they brought a new one back, which is still 10 times optical zoom. It is 28 millimeters thick.
That's pretty thin.
It's just less than 3 centimeters thick with 10 times optical zoom. I mean, to say you can't get a lot of camera in a small package these days is pretty, untrue at this point. Other than that, pretty, normal stuff, 720p recording, 2.7-inch LCD screen, but world's thinnest 10x optical zoom camera. Samsung did some pretty cool stuff. They've got their new SH100, which is their Wi-Fi enabled camera. What's different about this guy, because we've had Wi-Fi enabled cameras before, and there's nothing really special about them, and most of the time they don't work very well. But what's cool about this one is it's specifically designed to work with Android phones so that you can use your phone to geotag as well as control and get live preview from the camera.
So there's some kind of app you download.
There's an app you download, and basically you'll be able to see on your phone screen what the camera's seeing, and be able to take a picture and change settings all from your phone.
So, that's pretty cool, because we looked at something like that for DSLR, but you had to buy an adapter and all this stuff.
So when we talked about that adapter was what, like $150?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, this camera is $200.
Yeah, and it comes with the camera. I mean, it's not the same kind of camera, but it's still kind of cool. If you
and it has
go,
more functionality than that DSLR remote.
So if you want to go put your camera somewhere and then get that picture.
So I think that's really cool. Now, I think they were saying that it's Android and Windows phone, so I'm not sure why.
It's kind of interesting it's not on iPhone.
I imagine it has something to do with how it's communicating, and maybe
Probably.
it's
They
stuff
couldn't
that
do it.
Apple's not letting them do.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get one eventually. So that's cool. I really like that idea of Samsung going, you know what, we make, you know why they probably did it? Because Samsung doesn't make Apple devices, and they make tons of Android devices.
Makes sense.
So, they go, hey, we make great phones. Why don't we make your great phones also talk with our great cameras, which is pretty cool. They also came out with the WB700. Now, up until recently, Samsung had the most zoom in a compact camera of 15 times optical zoom. Everyone else was like 12 or 14, so Samsung held that title. And they've decided to hold it a little bit longer. They now have 18 times optical zoom in a compact camera.
One up themselves.
That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of zoom in a small... I mean, these cameras are like, that thick, so... It's pretty small to have 18 times optical zoom. Plus, it's a really sharp-looking camera. And interestingly enough, the WB600, which was the previous model, actually won DP Review's shootout of about 30 subcompact cameras. So the WB600 was a really popular camera, and now they've just made it better. So it's got an equivalent range of 24 to 432 millimeters, and a camera that's about an inch thick.
That's ridiculous.
So I think that's going to be a hit with Samsung. Hopefully, we'll have it on the show to show you, because I think it's going to be pretty cool. So Sony's been pushing 3D televisions, because that's the trend now. And not to be outdone by Panasonic's recent HS750, which was their 3D camcorder. Panasonic uses an adapter that takes 2 lenses and records it to 1 sensor, and then does some in-camera processing to switch up those sensors. Well, Sony says, you know what? That's a stupid idea. We're going to put in 2 lenses and 2 sensors and 2 processors. That is 2 processors in this new...
So you've basically taken 2 cameras and put them in one body.
Yeah. So this new TD10 is a full HD 3D camcorder with 2 lenses, 2 sensors, 2 processors, which is awesome, because what they actually talk about is it records double HD. It's recording 2 full sensors worth of HD. So I'm sure there's something you could do there. Like, it'd be really awesome. I don't know if it's a possibility, but it'd be really awesome if you could record one sensor at a different exposure than the other sensor for recording 2D, because you could have a camcorder that shoots HDR, which would be ridiculous. On top of that, it's 1080 60p. Out of both of those, which is really crazy. It's got 64 gigabytes of internal memory. It's got a 1.2 megapixel LCD screen, which is pretty high for a camcorder.
Not bad.
But here's the best part. glassesless 3D.
You need that. If it's not glassless 3D on the camera,
Yeah.
there's no...
So they have a 3.5-inch touchscreen that's glassesless at 1.2 megapixels.
They're just cramming every feature into that
This
little
camera
screen.
literally has everything you could possibly think of. On top of that, it's got a 5.1 channel microphone. It's got mic in as well as headphone monitoring jack with on-screen audio level meters. So they've really marketed this camera to be for the sort of prosumer that wants a camera that's going to shoot some really awesome 3D, but also give them some really awesome 2D as well.
Now, does it give you any memory slot options?
You've got
Is it
64 gig internal flash
yeah.
plus I believe SD memory. And
Because
I think
Sony does that thing where they're kind of like, yeah, we're supporting SD, but some of their stuff still doesn't use SD.
I'm fairly certain it has SD. I don't have the specifics on here. It's supposed to retail for about $1,500 US, which is a pretty good price.
yeah.
I mean, that's what Panasonic is charging for theirs, and this arguably is twice the camera, literally
yeah.
than what Panasonic is doing. But they didn't want to leave their consumer market out, so they also brought out their Bloggy 3D, which is sort of your entry-level 3D. It shoots in 1080p at 30 frames per second with 2 sensors and 2 lenses. It's the Bloggy, so it's smaller.
Yeah.
But they also put a 2.4-inch glassesless 3D screen on the back of that as well. So I believe for around, I think it's about $300 is what the Bloggy is going to be going for. You can have a pocketable 3D glassesless camera, which is... It's awesome. Sony's really jumping on the 3D bandwagon, but I think they're doing it in the right way by not using gimmick lenses and stuff like that to achieve it. So I think it could be pretty cool. The kind of results
they've kind
it
of
does.
built from the ground up new cameras as opposed to putting lenses on slightly modified existing cameras like Panasonic kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just when you thought Sony was done with crazy innovations, they now have their line, their PJ50, which is their HD camcorder, full HD, 60p. Built-in projector on the LCD screen with capability of, according to them, projecting up to a 60-inch image.
Yeah, well...
I mean, obviously in ideal lighting.
And yeah, how bright is that
But
gonna be?
it's pretty sweet. It's got a 3-inch flip-out touch LCD screen with a built-in projector. They built it into the LCD screen so that you could put the camera down flat and just tilt the LCD screen based on the wall
where
that
you
you're
need it to
trying to
be.
shoot it at.
Clever.
So it's pretty cool. It comes with a 220 gig hard drive in it. It's got a built-in GPS receiver as well. And it's got, they put emphasis on putting good speakers on the camera so that you could actually use
so you can
the device.
enjoy the
Exactly.
projector, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It's going for about $1,000. So that's the cost of their camera that does this kind of recording quality now. But now you get a projector. Yeah. So
And I think that's where the Pico projectors belong.
Definitely in a video camera, because it's like, I got to figure out how to watch this footage, because that's the problem is people go, well, how do I get it on my computer, or what kind of cables do I need for my TV? Well, it's just now plug it in and boop, find a white wall and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see how that turns out. So Sony's they're on the ball. They're doing some crazy stuff with their cameras. But, Sony's always been really great at innovation. They just sort of lack the follow-through sometimes. So we'll see how good these products actually perform. Canon decided to finally bring an entry-level professional camcorder to the market, which is their XA10, which is a full HD camcorder with the handle and the XLR inputs and the shotgun mic mount. What they've kind of done is Canon's taken a page out of the good book, and normally the current available consumer camcorders, HD is 2 megapixels, but they'll put an 8 megapixel chip in there so that they can still offer stills. Right? Well, they've decided to forego that on this camera, and they've put a native 2 megapixel chip in there. Which, as we've talked about before, because the sensor hasn't gotten any bigger than the older cameras, it just means that all those pixels are larger. So the low light capability of this XA10 should be pretty good because it's using optimized amount of megapixels, exactly what they need for HD, which is going to give you pixels that are larger. And it's got full range of 1080 60p and manual exposure control and all that kind of stuff. It's got a top mount handle which you can take off so you can use it as a small camcorder. I think it's a bit small. It's priced similar to the HMC40 that we use, and I don't feel like it's the same caliber of camera as far as access to things like focus and all the buttons and everything like that. But it does have a lot of the same features. It's just, I think, a little bit more consumer shaped and designed. So Canon also had a whole bunch of new point-and-shoots. Nothing really special except that they're one of their entry-level models. They've brought back the viewfinder, which has been missing on any non-high zoom camera at this point. And they basically the one that they brought back, the viewfinder, they also put really big buttons on it, so it is the elderly person's camera. It's really simple, AA batteries, viewfinder, big buttons. It is designed for someone who's like, just give me a simple camera. or old people that always need to have a viewfinder because
they do this even if there isn't one.
exactly. But there's a bunch of new Canon. I'm not going to go into all of them because it's just more of the same.
Almost to the end of the list, folks.
I told you there's a lot. GoPro officially announced their 3D
Which we knew was
mount,
coming.
which we knew was coming, but it wasn't official. So now they have a little casing that basically takes one GoPro and flips the other one upside down, and then lines up the lenses, and then they got this little patch cable that goes between them, so it syncs up the information, and I believe it flips the thing in.
That makes sense.
On as it's going, so that you can get 3D footage.
So to use this, you need to buy 2 GoPros.
You need to have 2 GoPros, then you need to buy the
case.
casing,
Okay.
the kit that comes with the casing and the patch cable.
But I mean, the GoPros are reasonably priced, so it's
And,
not like
and a lot of people that have GoPros tend to have more than one
Yeah.
because a lot of people are using them for like adventure sports
Do
and
different
stuff. So
angles
they're
and
going to
stuff
have
anyway.
like one attached to their chest and one on their helmet and one on their snowboard or something. So they've already got usually
Couple
one
of
or two.
them,
And if you already have one, then you only have to buy another one. So that's pretty cool. They've also announced their LCD screens for the back, which is something the GoPros never had. You always
Yeah.
was just like shooting blindly.
And then go find out later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the new LCD screens are available as well. So there's a bunch of new accessories to the GoPro. And we love that camera. We think it's hands
Really,
down,
really
it's
cool.
our top
Yeah.
choice for an adventure
Oh,
sports
yeah.
camera for sure. And Panasonic decided to bring out the new TM900 because they didn't want to get completely stomped by Sony. It is a 3D camcorder, but and they're still using that lens that they have on
So
the
single
HS.
sensor.
Single sensor with the split lens. But what's special about this guy is basically up until now, spec for AVC HD is the top out has been 24 megabits per
Yep.
second. Mostly because it's a Blu-ray spec, and that's sort of what they had to do.
Kind of convenient anyway.
But Panasonic was kind of like, meh. And so now this is 28 megabytes per second. So they've pumped up the quality a little bit more. It's shooting 1080 60p like the TM700 was. It's got a 3.5-inch touchscreen, but the big thing on this guy is it's got an f1.5 lens, which is ridiculously bright for a camcorder. And they're using their 3MOS sensor, which is already really good in low light.
Yeah.
So that guy should be pretty cool. It's going to use SD and SDXC cards. So yeah, a whole bunch of new stuff. I'm sure there'll be some more for us to talk about next week.
Guaranteed.
If you're looking for a new camera, wait, because all this stuff is coming in the next couple months, and most of it's pretty phenomenal.
That's the one thing. Cameras usually end up coming out
Yeah.
at CES. Everything else,
Between CES and Photokina, or not Photokina, but PMA, which happens like beginning of April, you're pretty much, if you're going to buy a camera, don't buy it between January and April because something new will come out.
Yes, and then you will feel stupid.
Or you'll just get a really good deal on the camera you already wanted because it's going to be discontinued. So either way, it's win-win. So that's it from Behind the Lens this week, and we'll see if we got some more camera stuff to tell you about next week in CES. Hey everybody, it's that time of the week where we try to make you laugh with something funny we found on the internet. Now, disclaimer, if you don't know anything about Photoshop, you probably won't get this.
But it is very clever.
It is, and if you do know about Photoshop, then you'll probably find this quite hilarious because it's very well written and interestingly done. This is the Photoshop rap
Brought to you
featuring
by-
CMY Killa,
Brought to you by the good people at College Humor.
because they make some really funny stuff.
Awesome stuff.
So check it out.
My eyes are red. How am I supposed to put these pictures on Facebook? Yo, I hear you got a problem. Who are you?
Yo, I'm CMY Killer, here to answer all your prayers. So import this Phoenix photo, open up a new layer. When it comes to red eyes, I know just the fix. Back your ass up and let me channel mix. You know that RGB are the colors we slide in. Now knock that red back to that sucker behind it. Set our hues, green and blues, up to 50%. Now we through, let's review our color adjustment.
Hey, what's wrong with my picture? You made it all gray.
Crop that tongue, motherfucker. Listen what I say. Select your layer mask. Now we on the right track. Whip that paint bucket out. Fill it up with black. Hold up.
Here's a tip for Adobe Elite. If you want a quick fill, press Alt Delete.
So I think the thing I like best about that video was just how many things they covered, and
You can actually learn, because I actually learned something from that video. I learned how to get rid of red eye in my photos.
Yeah, I mean that's the
For
thing. I mean,
reals.
if you sat there and like paused it as he was talking, you could actually follow along the steps he's doing and do stuff.
Except for
you
the
know?
unicorn thing, but
No, you could. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that get involved with the unicorn,
Yeah.
but either way, it was really well polished. Lots of really good names, and all the other assistant rappers were really funny. The characters and everything like that. The guys at College Humor always do a really good job,
Good
so
job as
commendable on that. That brings us to the end of our episode this week, our CES sort of roundup. There might be some more CES next week because there's still 3 days left.
We can pretty much guarantee there will be more CES next week. Maybe
It'll-
not as much as today, but definitely more.
Things still happen on the weekend at CES.
Oh, yeah.
It's a non-stop party of new electronics. But if you'd like to tell us what you want to see us try and get our hands on from CES so that we can try and
Or if
review
you
on the
want
show.
to send us something.
Or if
from
you want to send us
CES,
something from CES because you went there and you stole some
like a
goods out of
swag
the booth.
bag. I wouldn't mind a swag bag.
You know, whatever you'd like to send us, you can hit us up on our Twitter at almost_Friday.
Or you can email us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
So until next time, make sure you stay on top of your Twitter and your RSS feeds because otherwise, this time of year, you'll just get drowned in information.